Sporting's outgoing manager Ruben Amorim refused to humour the idea of signing Viktor Gyokeres for Manchester United, despite his hat-trick against Manchester City in the Champions League. Amorim was taking charge of Sporting for the final time in Lisbon on Tuesday night, and he certainly went out with a bang. City started the stronger and took an early lead through Phil Foden, but once Gyokeres equalised just before the interval, the tide had turned. Maximiliano Araujo gave Sporting the lead less than a minute after the break, before Gyokeres' emphatic penalties secured victory for the Lisbon club. In his post-match interview, Amorim began by paying tribute to the farewell afforded to him. Looking at the game, it was written in stone, he explained in his post-match press conference. The opponent missing a penalty when the score was 3-1. There are days when things have to happen in a certain way. We started the second half very well. The crowd started to get excited. I couldn't ask for another farewell. I'm very happy with this moment. After paying tribute to the fans, the line of questioning shifted to Gyokeres and whether he was on Amorim's radar for United. However, the Portuguese head coach was clear with his thoughts on this. Gyokeres: I've just made peace with them, Sporting. I'm not even going to joke about it signing him for United, Amorim insisted. Gyokeres is at a big club, and now all he has to do is finish the season here. Gyokeres has now scored 20 goals in 16 appearances for Sporting this campaign. Speaking to TNT Sports, Amorim added, No, I cannot be funny with that. In this moment it was tough for me to leave. If I'm starting joking about that with your cameras, I have problems. This is my city, this is my country, so I will respect that Viktor has to stay until the end of the season, and then his life is going, maybe, somewhere else. Manchester United midfielder Mason Mount has returned to training and is making progress in his return from injury. Mount last played in the 3-0 defeat to Tottenham at end of September and has been absent from training and matchday squads since. However, the Manchester Evening News can now reveal Mount is back in training, which represents the next step in his recovery. Whether Mount is available for selection before the November international break remains to be seen, though United play PAOK in the Europa League on Thursday and Leicester City in the Premier League at the weekend. But Mount won't be rushed back, and a source has confirmed he will be carefully handled to prevent a repeat injury. Having struggled for form and fitness since joining the club from Chelsea last summer, Mount will be determined to impress new manager Ruben Amorim when he joins the club from Sporting CP a week today. Mount quotes pressing ability was relied upon by Erik Ten Hag in the opening fixtures of the campaign, and he was a key cog in the team's tweaked pressing structure in attack. But injuries have ruled him out of the last 7 matches in all competitions, and he has featured in just 25 matches since joining last summer. United needed to sell players in the summer to generate funds and operate within PSR rules, but Mount had the backing from key figures inside the club to stay and become the important member of the squad they thought they were signing. He will now look to maintain his fitness and prove his worth to Amorim as he ushers in a new era at Old Trafford. One of the leading recruiters in France approved of Manchester United's Lenny Yoroku. Fantastic recruitment for United, they messaged, one of the most talented defenders from France. Some similarities with Varane in the same age. Now he will need to increase physically to play in the Premier League. But he has speed, defensive reading and technique to be a very good player immediately, and for the future. The immediate has been delayed by nearly 4 months after a luckless metatarsal fracture following a tangle with Gabriel Jesus in a friendly with Arsenal. Yoro left Los Angeles on crutches and had surgery 3 days after United returned to Manchester. He was pictured undergoing an individual training session with the physio Ibrahim Karem 3 weeks ago, and there was some gentle ball work. Almost there, kid, Bruno Fernandes wrote on Yoro's Instagram upload.Yoro, who turns 19 next week, will not play against PAOK on Thursday or Leicester or Sunday. Perhaps there will be a cameo during the open training session at Carrington on Wednesday. As gutting as Yoro's injury was, United strove to frame the layoff as a positive for the teenager. A senior coaching staff member said it afforded Yoro time to adjust to his new surroundings at the training complex, settle into his new home and explore the city centre. It is an approach Sir Alex Ferguson swore by to lift the morale of an injured player. United turn the page next week. With the 3 inconveniently timed international fortnights boxed off and the spring internationals not until late March, Ipswich Town on November 24th is a new beginning for United. It gives the illusion that it is the real start of their season. They will have a new coach in the dugout, a new formation and ideally a new centre back in their back 3. Euro was United's costliest summer signing at a fee rising to €70 million. United saw off competition from a complacent Real Madrid, a role reversal 13 years on from Madrid, gazumping them to sign a teenage centre-back from northern France. Varane is understood to have been among the former United players whom Euro consulted before making his decision. There was surprise at Everton that United parted with more than £50 million up front for a raw and overseas centre-back, having tabled derisory offers for Jarrad Branthwaite. Injuries have reduced Branthwaite to one Premier League start and 2 substitute appearances this term. Euro played 80 minutes in 2 friendlies in 2 different continents for United before his metatarsal cracked. There were a couple of dicey passes against Rangers and Arsenal, but also glimpses of the confidence that made him so coveted. United have to aim to get him match fit for Ruben Amorim's first appearance in the dugout at Portman Road. Amorim will have 3 team training sessions at the very most once all of the internationals return from duty, and the Sunday scheduling is a benefit. In 60 appearances for Lille, Euro never played in a back 3. Matthijs de Ligt has but struggled there for the Netherlands at the 2020 European Championship and for Bayern Munich under Julian Nagelsmann. Lisandro Martinez lined up in the formation in Argentina's World Cup quarter-final against the Dutch. A newly signed United centre-back getting a going-over is a rite of passage. Gary Pallister at Main Road in 1989, Jaap Stam in the 1998 Charity Shield, Laurent Blanc against anyone with pace, Nemanja Vidic at Blackburn, Viktor Lindelof at Huddersfield, Martinez at Brentford and Dalot against Tottenham. There have been exceptions. Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire enjoyed stellar and steady starts. I must say I haven't trained too much with him, Maguire said of Euro, but I've seen clips and I've seen attributes in a centre-back of an 18-year-old that you'd want, every single attribute he's got. We must remind ourselves he is really young. There are going to be mistakes, but he has every attribute of a centre-back in the modern game, he has it, so I'm sure he's going to have a bright future. It's our job as senior centre-backs, my job, to help him along, communicate well, let him know what to expect. There are going to be times where I'm sure he'll feel the world is on top of him. There are also going to be times where he's going to feel like the best player in the world. And that's what this club brings. Euro got the same squad number, 15, as Vidic. He comes from St Maurice is a tricky lyric to work with, but Euro is a talent United will hope at least emulates Vidic's 8.5 years of service. Vidic joined for £7 million amid interest from Liverpool. That was another coup. Inevitable speculation mooting that incoming Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim will raid Sporting CP for some of their players in January has been quickly shut down by the man himself. I will not take any of Sporting's players in January, but that's another story, he told the media this week. One of the players most tipped for a move to United because of his links with Amorim is Sporting attacker Viktor Gyokeres. The striker has scored a brilliant 20 goals in 16 matches this season, carrying on his form from last term, which saw him bag 43 goals in 50 outings. However, Amorim knows how tricky it will be to land the Sweden international. Gyokeres costs £100 million. It's very complicated, he said. Whether United spend in January is unclear in light of spending limits. More than £200 million splashed in the summer, and United have dished out a combined £25 million in compensation for the firing of Erik ten Hag and the hiring of Amorim. Either way, Amorim will have a good idea which areas of his squad need strengthening by the new year. And analysts have already been casting their own verdicts ahead of the new coach's start date. Owen Hargreaves believes United need another centre-back and striker, despite acquiring reinforcement in both areas this summer. Defenders Matthijs de Ligt and Lenny Yoro were brought in ahead of the new season, while forward Joshua Zirkzee was also signed. De Ligt has endured a stumbling start, while Yoro has yet to make his competitive debut after fracturing his metatarsal in pre-season. Zirkzee, meanwhile, has not scored in 13 matches, having netted the winner in the opening day 1. 0 win over Fulham. United have scored just 8 times in their opening 9 games and have shipped 11 goals in the process. I think Amorim needs a striker, and I think he needs a centre-back, Hargreaves told Premier League Productions, as per TBR Football. But I'm just excited. I think we just needed a change, and this is a brilliant change, and I'm sure he's going to want to spend some money. Meanwhile, reports continue to suggest that Amorim might consider a move for Benfica left-back Álvaro Fernandes, who left United's academy this summer. United are struggling for numbers in the position, with Diogo Dalot currently deputising there amid a spate of injuries. Luke Shaw has suffered another setback in his recovery, while Tyrell Malacia is being reintroduced slowly, having not played since May 2023 due to hiccups in his rehabilitation from serious knee surgery. United have a buyback clause in Fernandes' Benfica deal and will be known to Amorim due to playing in the same league as Sporting. The 21-year-old, who never made his competitive senior debut for United, despite winning Reserve Player of the Year in 2022, has been tracked by Amorim, as per Give Me Sport.